Hey, it's your pal Palamation, and I'm back with another top 5. Well, it's 6 this time around, but we'll get to that in a bit. This will be my first video recording with my new mic, so hopefully you all notice an increase in sound quality. So when making this channel, I wanted to discuss video games of all kinds, as I love a wide assortment of game series. But lately I've been worried that my channel is coming across as more of a Mario channel than anything else. So in an effort to combat that, as well as make more videos discussing current trends, I want to talk about the much anticipated sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Unlike the 3D Mario remasters, this game has been officially announced, but similar to the remasters, we know next to nothing about it. So I decided to do what I do best and make a list of all the features I hope to see in the next installment to my favorite series. Let's begin. So I originally planned this video as a top 5, but my number 6 choice is just too important for me to leave out, and that's amiibo functionality. As many of you who played the original Breath of the Wild may know, by using the Zelda series amiibo, you can unlock several different items and outfits from past Zelda games, such as the tunics from Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, and weapons like the Sword of the Six Sages and Twilight Bow from Twilight Princess. As a nostalgia-driven fanboy, I'm obviously a huge sucker for gimmicks like this, especially since these outfits allow me to play as my two favorite Zelda characters, Fierce Deity Link and Sheik. The reason I'm worried all the amiibo goodness won't return is because of Mario Maker 2. The first Mario Maker gave you access to several playable characters due to the amiibo, and it was amazing to see the game have such a diverse cast. I was pretty disappointed when I saw that none of them would return in the sequel. Now, obviously characters like Sonic, Pac-Man, and Mega Man make bringing all the amiibo skins back pretty difficult, so hopefully since it's a Zelda game using Zelda amiibo, there won't be a problem. Number 5 is something I personally didn't mind too much, but I know is a huge issue for others, and that's the weapon durability system. In the first game you had very limited use of each weapon, as they would break after enduring too many hits. Overall I think this system is a good idea, as it forces you to use a large variety of weapons, and to think on your feet if your last weapon breaks. That being said, I do think this system can be improved in a couple different ways. The first being to just increase the number of hits a weapon can dish out, so it doesn't feel like you're constantly breaking them. The next, and more important of the two, would be to create a way to repair your weapons. Whether it be from using certain items or NPCs you can pay to do it, this would allow you to use your favorite weapons without fear of losing them. Which would definitely be nice for the aforementioned amiibo weapons. These weapons are a pain to spawn, so their ability to break just really discourages players from ever using them. Which is why they just hung on my wall forever. At number 4, we have a fleshed out Ganondorf. When making this list, I didn't really think about how I worded this one, but I mean fleshed out like story-wise. Though I hope he does get some actual flesh too, because he's looking a little thin. When thinking about past Ganondorfs, his Wind Waker persona always stands out as my favorite, as unlike other depictions of his character, he's not some one-dimensional cartoon villain. You can tell this is a villain who knows pain and suffering, so it's just using violence as a means to reach his goal, not so much because it brings him great joy. This is made evident when he tells Link that he doesn't wish to kill him. I've been seeing several fan theories about this sequel's version of Ganondorf, and while I seriously doubt he's going to be a good guy, it would be interesting to see some unseen sides to him. It's more what drives him and leads him down the path he chose. Heck, maybe even show some signs of regret. And before y'all comment, "Oh, but Palamation, he's pure evil, he's the reincarnation of demise." I know, but his words and actions in Wind Waker really say otherwise. Such as when he chose to merely incapacitate Zelda rather than cut her down. Plus, Breath of the Wild's story was a bit lacking, so this would add some much needed depth. Number 3 is definitely a long shot. See, that one was meant to be a pun. And that's to give us a co-op mode with Link and Zelda as our playable characters. Now I'm almost certain Nintendo won't do this and will just throw in some excuse for why Zelda is absent all game. I mean, that's pretty much always their go-to. But a playable Zelda has been something fans have been requesting for a long time, and this seems like the perfect chance to finally implement it. No, you don't count. Get on out of here, get! Seeing as this incarnation of Zelda is no stranger to traveling alongside Link, it'd make perfect sense for him to train her as a combatant, and it'd be interesting to see the different strengths and abilities she'd have over him, such as giving her powerful magic to fight with, while Link sticks with his physical weaponry. Ha, sticks. You get it? Because he can use sticks as a weapon? Anyway, the one issue I could see with this is what would Zelda be doing when playing solo? as based on the multiple forms of movement and travel in Breath of the Wild, having an NPC constantly following you wouldn't make sense and would just weigh you down. Maybe they could keep her in a town and she'll only follow you when you request her to. This idea would definitely have some kinks to work out, but seeing as how much my fiance and I both love the first game, it'd be a dream to roam the fields of Hyrule side by side. One of my main gripes with Breath of the Wild was the Divine Beast. Not that I had an issue with their presence or dungeon puzzles, but rather the interior design of them, as each Divine Beast looked essentially the same. After so many hours of playing, I grew tired of looking at the same wall and floor textures over and over, which is why my number 2 pick is to bring back themed dungeons. I'm talking Fire Temple, Water Temple, Shadow Temple, etc. In past Zelda games, each dungeon felt vastly different from the others, each with their own unique atmosphere. Even if Nintendo sticks to the 4 main dungeons, I'll be happy as long as they are each memorable in their own special way. Seeing as the teaser trailer for the sequel alludes to a darker tone for the game, I'd also love to see the creepier atmosphere return for each dungeon, such as the ones found in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I'm talking real creepy music with chanting and echoes and everything. I mean, who doesn't want a round 2 for Bottom of the Well? And the absolute most important thing for me to get in a sequel to Breath of the Wild is a new map to explore. My favorite aspect of Breath of the Wild was the exploration. I've waited so many years to get an open world Zelda game, and I was overjoyed to see the map filled to the brim with beautiful environments and interesting locations to visit. I loved exploring every nook and cranny to find all of Hyrule's secrets, as well as just standing and breathing in the moment as I found myself fully immersed in the breathtaking views. So for as much as I loved the map in Breath of the Wild, that's the thing. I've already explored it from top to bottom. I've seen all it has to offer, and while they could definitely switch up some things and insert a bunch of new shrines and puzzles, it doesn't change the fact that the world itself would still be so familiar to me. My first playthrough of Breath of the Wild can never be topped, because the greatest aspect of the game is discovery, and once you've discovered it all, that initial feeling of wonder is gone. Breath of the Wild is the first game in a long time that made me feel like a kid again, which is why it's my favorite single-player game ever made. My hope is for the sequel to give me that same feeling of childlike wonder, and I know this will only be possible with a new world to explore. I'm not sure how they do things with the above ground map, unless they plan to take us out of Hyrule, but perhaps we get an entirely new map that allows us to explore the land's underground caverns and temples. While it'll definitely be a challenge to make the underground area as beautiful and interesting as the above ground, I'm excited nonetheless to see what they'll pull off and the great new discoveries I have yet to find. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was a near-perfect game in my experience, and if they fix a few things like the weapons and temples, then I could see its sequel reaching even greater heights. While most of these things are just preferences I could live without, I will admit my number 1 is something I need to happen if the game wants to hold a candle to its predecessor. Anyways, that's been my top 6 hopes for the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like and hitting that subscribe button. My mind is overflowing with ideas for new videos, and the more the channel grows, the more I can put out there. And I'd love to hear all the ideas and hopes you guys have for this sequel, so please comment them below. Part of what's nice about being so small now is I can take the time to read and respond to each of you. So as always, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun. Have a good one.